Welcome back, everybody. I recently bought 7 different toolboxes at a local online estate auction. There was no in-person preview, so I had to base my bids on the photos only. They had 1 photo of each drawer, so outside of the top tools that you could see in each drawer, you couldn't really tell what was in each. I took a huge gamble on this one. I was hoping it was mostly loaded with Snap-on. I could definitely see there was other brands in there. I ended up paying $1,600 for this box. It was a big gamble. I hope it pays off. This one's going to take a while, so buckle up. And here we go. Starting off with the top box. Start with this back corner here. Looks like mostly trash, but you never know. Sometimes people have little hidden gems in here, like this right here. This is a number 4, I believe. P42A Snap-on number 4 bit driver socket. Looks like we got some 22 rounds down there. And mostly the rest of it looks like miscellaneous junk. And on top of the miscellaneous junk there was this hose removal pliers. Probably made by Lyle. Moving on to the sockets. Now this is kind of what the photos look like. You could see that there were sockets, but you couldn't tell what brands they were. Starting off, this first row here is Matco. At least that one was. Then we have a Snap-on 7/16, Snap-on 3/8, Snap-on 5/8. Then we go back to Matco 11/16. Matco 3/4, Matco 13/16, Matco 7/8. Of course, these are all 3/8 drive. Then we have a Stanley, is it? Stanley Workmaster, another Stanley, 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 and then we go up to a 1/2 inch Snap-on 11/16. Guessing that's just in the wrong spot. And then Matco 3/8. So between these two rows, we have basically a full set of 3/8 shallow. You know, if we mix brands. Down here we have a Mac Torx bit T55. We have this Blackhawk 5/16 Allen socket, missing the bit, of course. Down here we have a Snap-on, I believe that's a carburetor adjustment socket. Some SK, got a 1/2 inch. Got some SK 1/2 inch drive sockets. Got a 1/2 inch. Oh, this is Snap-on 9/16. This the Stanley again. I believe that's Stanley. And then 3/4 inch Craftsman. Then a no-name inverted Torx, I believe they call it, E-Torx. We have a set of probably like Lyle or something, E-Torx. Dropping down to 1/4 inch drive, Craftsman, Craftsman, Craftsman. All these are Craftsman. Oh, except for this one. This is a 1/2 inch Snap-on. In a previous box, I had about 6 or 7 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch drive Snap-on. This might go to that set. I just checked through all these. All these are Craftsman 1/4 inch shallows. Snap-on 5/8 12-point 1/2 inch drive. And then I thought these were Snap-on, and they are. These are obviously swivels, universals, whatever you want to call them. These are the deep version, SAE. This is actually a pretty good set. Moving into the front of this box, we have some miscellaneous Craftsman sockets down here. 1/2 inch drive deep. This looks like a no-name spark plug socket. And we have one made by Gambles. 1/2 inch drive is US made socket. Looks like we start off with SK 1/2 inch drive 1 1/8. This is a unbranded USA made 7/8 socket. Another unbranded 13/16. 5/8 Craftsman and a 19/32 Craftsman. Alright, and then the last row here, starting off with the Snap-on 5/8, Craftsman 9/16, Craftsman 1/2 inch, Snap-on 7/16, Snap-on 3/8, Snap-on 11/16, Craftsman 19mm, Snap-on 3/4, Snap-on 18mm, SK spark plug socket, Craftsman 16mm, Craftsman 17mm, Snap-on 1/2 inch, Craftsman 15mm, Craftsman 14mm, Craftsman 13mm, Snap-on 12mm, Snap-on 10mm, Craftsman 9mm, Craftsman 9mm, Craftsman 11mm, and finally we finish it off with this Snap-on 9613. This is a specialty 4-prong socket, 3/8 drive. No, it's 1/2 inch drive, my bad. So looking at the photos, you know, I could definitely see some were Snap-on. I could see some were not. I had to take a guess. So now going through it, I would say about 35%, 40% of them were either Snap-on or Matco. Wish there was more, but glad there's not less. Almost 97% of our viewers are not subscribed. Become a subscriber today. It really helps out the channel. Thank you. Moving on to the top left side drawer. This is completely full of punches and chisels and alignment tools. There's so many in here. I think what I'll do is take them all out and do a little organization by brand. Okay, there's everything that was in that drawer. The pile on the right here is mostly no name, or there's like Dayton, Craftsman, Blue Line, and maybe a couple other brands in there. The pile on the left here is Snap-on. I was hoping the left side pile would be a little larger. Actually, this is a Craftsman little hook tool that was in there. So these are all Snap-on punches. This punch here was a pretty good find, I guess. It's a Snap-on PPB 1012. This is actually about a $70 punch, truck price anyway. And I think this is also, I don't know if I said it right, this is a bronze punch. And I don't know if this is also bronze. Some people list it as bronze, some people as brass, but definitely has a little bit different look, but it's also quite a bit older, so could just be more tarnished. There was also a Snap-on little pocket screwdriver in there, SPP 46, I think that says. And then a Snap-on punch and chisel holder. So not as good as I'd hoped, but not horrible. Moving on to the top drawer center. Right off the bat here, I can see a Snap-on stubby flathead. Looks like a no-name little 1/4 inch spinner. Next I see this Champion firing indicator. Next I see a broken hook here made by Snap-on. A little wrench, it looks like Indestro or Select Steel. Have a Craftsman pick. Sort of a pick hook tool, Craftsman. I'm not sure I've seen too many of these with the clear handles. Another Craftsman hook, so of course that other drawer had one, so that's probably the whole set right there. Another pocket screwdriver, Snap-on. Bunch of Snap-on keys in here. Hopefully these go to the bottom part because the one side box would not hold itself shut, and I figured if I could lock it, that would do the trick. So hopefully one of those goes at least to the side box. Got a Snap-on flat tip screwdriver. Almost looks like a Snap-on awl, like little one. I believe this is actually a tool made for taking out the drawers. Tap. Another piece to the Snap-on pick set. Snap-on steel rule. We have a handful of these made in the USA stamped ignition wrenches. Another gapper here. This one's a little different. Castar. I believe Castar is now Lang. Another Snap-on hook. And then a couple miscellaneous screwdrivers. Guess we'll work our way down the middle and then over to the right. This drawer looks like to have all sorts of brake tools, drum brake tools. Snap-on brake adjustment tool. Here's a Snap-on spring tool. This is a KD. Looks like it would be another brake spoon tool. I think this is a bleeder wrench. The Snap-on 7/16 3/8 6-point. These are usually considered bleeder wrenches. This is a Calvan spring tool. Some random Allen key. Then a couple of these pliers. One is made by Indestro and one made by Herbrand. Bottom small drawer, center. Looks like a bunch of old school vice grips. Usually many times these are pretty rusty and beat up, but these are actually in pretty good shape. These are the DeWitt Peterson. This one's actually an angle nose, needle nose. Then we just have a regular needle nose. Yeah, these are in really good shape for their age. Another needle nose. Got a curved jaw made in China. Another needle nose. This one's a little bit smaller than the other two. Proto pin spanner. One of the pins is broken off. That's pretty common when I find these. The pins have either been modified or broken. Here's another spanner, Proto. We have a Proto adjustable 8-inch and a Proto adjustable 6-inch. All right, moving to the right side top drawer. Now these were tricky. They basically had one photo, and this was kind of what the photo looked like, so you could see some of the brands, but then you could also see there was stuff like this in there where it was a no-name. So you really had to think like how many in there are Snap-on or truck wrenches and how many in there are no-names or Craftsman or whatever. So definitely a gamble, but to buy stuff like this, you do have to roll the dice. So first one up here, OEX70, that's a 1/2-inch Snap-on. OEX14, so we've got a 7/16 3/8 Snap-on, 1/2-inch Snap-on, and this is actually the OEXL, so it's a long handle version. Matco 1/2-inch. A lot of people like these old Matco wrenches. This must be another OEXL 9/16 Snap-on, OEXL 18. Really like the long handle Snap-on wrenches. Another 7/16 Snap-on, 13/16 great neck. Here we have an offset box end 3/8 by 7/16. 6-point 7/16 Snap-on, 6-point 1/2-inch Snap-on, 10mm 12-point. Got a Craftsman 1/2-inch by 9/16. Another one of these gamble tools or gambles in here. Box wrench 3/8 by 7/16. So who can tell me where these were sold? I'm going to guess that was a store brand somewhere. Like always, I could be wrong. What do we have here? 9/32 Snap-on. 1/4-inch by 5/16 flare nut wrench. I have another 9/16 Snap-on. Modified Barcelo Buffalo. One of my favorite brands to collect. The Fleet 5/8. I just always love their logo. Here is a modified valve check. Let's see. I'm seeing no name on this one. Looks like it might have been scratched off. 5/16 Snap-on. Taiwan 1/4-inch. 3/8 Snap-on. I'm seeing a lot of the same size as Snap-on here. 3/8, 7/16, 1/2-inch, 9/16. Hoping there's some bigger wrenches in here because I'll never make a set out of those. Craftsman 3/8. Craftsman double open end. Great neck 1/2-inch. Great neck, slightly modified, 14mm. But that's why you buy these great neck wrenches, right? 7/16 no name. We got SK 3/8 by 7/16 box wrench, 6-point. 1/4-inch tough. We have a slightly ground down 3/8 wrench. 3/8 tough. 7/16 by 3/8 Hexo deep offset box wrench. 7/16 Taiwan. 5/16 tough. Unmarked 1/4-inch made in the USA. 3/8 no name Taiwan. 3/8 True Craft. 7/16 no name. So out of all those wrenches, we have 15 Snap-ons, 1 Matco, handful of Craftsman, and then a bunch of no names. Top right second drawer. Now in the photos, most of these did look like Snap-on, so I guess we'll see. Obviously, most of these are flare nut wrenches. First one, Snap-on 3/4, 13/16. Snap-on 5/8, 11/16. These are the old beam style wrenches, of course. Modified Snap-on. I don't like to see that. Plenty of other brands out there to butcher. 7/16 by 1/2-inch. I guess when you're in a pinch, you're in a pinch. This is a 9/16 open-end flare nut wrench. Snap-on, of course. Snap-on 11/32. This is a 12mm Snap-on open-end flare nut wrench. 1/2" 9/16 Snap-on. 11mm Snap-on, another one of these open-end flare nut wrenches. 1/2" open-end flare nut wrench. 14mm Snap-on open-end flare nut. 13mm open-end flare nut. 10mm open-end flare nut. Might have almost a whole set of these. Looks like we have another Fleet 7/16 wrench. Have a Napa 7/16 3/8 flare nut wrench. A Cal flare nut wrench. And what's this last one? Industrial Super flare nut wrench. So that second drawer had just about as many Snap-on wrenches as the upper drawer. Right side, third row. Now, in the photo, you can see about that much. So you can see handles. I knew these were Snap-on. I thought these were Snap-on. I can tell already by opening the drawer they're not Snap-on. Of course, Snap-on had a handle just like this. A lot of people have copied it. A lot of people have put that hex nut end on their shanks. Snap-on did not mark their sizes on their shank. And I see no writing on the handle, so these are knockoffs. So I won't go through those. I definitely guessed wrong on those. But what's left in the drawer here is Snap-on. Obviously nut drivers. The unfortunate part is somebody really liked to put a pliers on these and sort of ruin the handles on quite a few. To me, a nut driver just seems like something that if you can't break it loose by hand, you probably have the wrong tool. That being said, I do think this is a pretty good start to the SAE set. Alright, first full drawer, top drawer. A lot of bigger wrenches in here. On the surface, I'm not seeing too many brand names. Okay, first thing catching my eye here is this 1 1/4 wrench. For some reason, they have the name of it ground off. Not quite sure why you do that. This is an old Wright wrench, I believe. And it should say right there. They definitely made good wrenches, so as far as I'm concerned, that's a high quality wrench. If there's not more Snap-on in here, I'm hoping there's more of those. I have a TrueCraft Spain 13/16. Taiwan 1 1/16. Forged in the USA, 1". Not sure on the brand. It's got an AH marked up here. If you know what that means, you might be able to tell me what brand that is. I get a feeling East Co could totally be wrong. Got a 1" Craftsman in here. This is the no line V. So it's a V series and then it has no lines on the front panel. Offset 13/16 by 7/8 Gambles. TrueCraft Japan 1". Snap-on 3/8 OEXL, so this is the long handle version. Back to TrueCraft Spain 1 1/8. Dunlap 11/16. Husky 13/16. This is a US made Husky. Looks like another one of these USA no name 13/16. Going off and just going by the casting, this looks like another one 15/16. This looks like another one 1 1/16. I'll assume these are a well-made wrench. I just don't know what brand they are. I have another OEXL 11/16 Snap-on. OEXL 5/8 Snap-on. TrueCraft, this looks like Japan. Yep. Here we have a Mac 5/8. This is a CL20L, so this is their long handle version. This is the only Mac wrench I've seen so far. 5/8 Taiwan, double open end Craftsman 1214. And the last wrench in here is a 1 1/8. Again, this one has the name ground off. No idea why they did that. I know this is a Wright wrench. I can tell by the part number, I can tell by the looks of the wrench. Actually, you can actually see part of the W right there. So no idea why they did that, but that's actually a keeper wrench for me. Good quality wrench. Second full-size drawer. Pliers drawer, okay. Guess we'll start back here. Typical lineman pliers. Buffalo, Taiwan. Have another lineman pliers. This one actually looks to be decent quality. I see no markings whatsoever. Now usually anybody proud of their tool marked it somehow. So who knows where that one's made. Here we have a Calvan. Can't make out the part number. Not sure what this is. I would assume it's some sort of spark plug boot puller. This is a Dymaloid H18, a little bit rusty. Here is a nice heavy duty Snap-on 49P. It's actually in pretty good shape. It's a little dirty, but man, this is a nice heavy duty pliers. Wow. Here we have a Robo Grip. Wonder if this is the OG version. Of course, it's been rebranded by a couple different people. We have a Fuller Japan slip joint. Blue Point slip joint. Blue Point PWC 14 wire stripper crimper. Got a long Snap-on needle nose. Looks like 597 ACP. Oh, we have another Snap-on 497C 497 ACP. This is the bent nose, needle nose. Then we have a Channel Locks bent nose, needle nose. Slip joint Snap-on. The only numbers I'm making out right now are 49. I don't think that's the whole part number. Well, this is a vacuum grip though. Okay, so maybe that is the whole part number. I didn't realize this was a vacuum grip. I have another Blue Point slip joint. I have a Craftsman slip joint pliers. Also this no-name slip joint. I have a 10R vice grip. This is still the old Peterson DeWitt. This is another one in really nice condition. There's so many times where the finish is corroded or flaked off, or the thing's rusty or beat up. Blue Point spark plug boot puller. Looks like another Buffalo Taiwan needle nose. Although this one seems a little broke. I think it's supposed to ratchet. This is a Blue Point hose clamp pliers. This looks a lot like a battery pliers. Made in Japan, no name. The last one in this drawer is this little diagonal cutters, no name. Got a big old rubber mallet in here. Broken off sledge head. This is about a 5 pound, it feels like. A couple of ball peen hammers. I'm seeing no name on this first one. The second one here. This is a Blue Point. Looks like it's a 32 ounce. And then I won't show you the details, but it looks like there's a ton of Snap-on receipts in here. So this is everything that came out of that top box. Quite a bit of stuff. Not quite as much Snap-on as I had hoped, but still quite a few good quality tools. This box alone feels like it weighs about 125 pounds empty. It's an old Mac box. I don't know who made the Mac boxes. I don't know if it was Mac, Matco, but this is back when they used real steel to make boxes. All right, moving on to the middle box, top drawer. Looks like a bunch of pry bars. They look like mostly Snap-on. These black handle ones look like Snap-on. They definitely have the older style handle. They're very worn, and I'm not able to actually pick up a name anywhere on these. So I don't know for sure that those are Snap-on. I think they are. This one has an identical handle. Now obviously some of these tools were knocked off very close to the originals. I think this one is just so worn that you don't see it. The blue handle one definitely a Snap-on. The end's still in pretty good shape. There's a little spark plug gapper in here. This is a KD. We have another blue handle pry bar. We have another black handle pry bar. It's about a 24 inch. Still in pretty good shape. The handle is very worn, but right there I do see Snap-on on that one. And this handle does match the other ones. And this one does have Snap-on right there, I believe. It's very faint, but I think I can make it out. Then in the back of this drawer we have a carburetor adjusting tool. This one's made by Blue Point. And that's about it for the top drawer. Next up, middle drawer, middle box. All right, a lot of screwdrivers in here. I'm seeing a lot of Snap-on. This is the old triangle handle. The three-sided handle. This looks like a knockoff. Yeah, I don't see Snap-on on that one. That definitely looks like a knockoff. This looks like a knockoff. This is another triangular handle. We have some of these blue handle, stubby flat tip. Not sure what years they made that triangular handle. If you know, please leave it in the comments. Next one here is this big flat tip SSD8. So we got an 8-inch shank. Then we have what looks to be an SSD6. Yes, flat tip of course. I see two in here with this newer style handle. So I wonder if those were replacements at one time. SSD6, SSD4, SSD6. Triangular handle number 1 Phillips, SSD8, number 2 Phillips. Here we actually have a SK flat tip stubby. Next is a triangle handle. What is that? An SSD8, but the flat tip on that one's broken. Got another Phillips here, number 3 Phillips. There's a bunch of this bluish green corrosion on these handles. I'm not sure I've seen that in boxes that I've come across in this area before. SSD4 back here. This is what is it, a Peerless? Yep. I've had some of these in other boxes. This is a number 4 Phillips. Got a crusty Craftsman in there. A couple more Snap-on. Another blue handle back here. Again, I'm kind of thrown off by what kind of corrosion's on there. These were in an outside garage, but yeah, there's a lot of tools around here that I bought out of someone's garage, and I've never seen that sort of corrosion on it. Looks like we have a cotter key pin puller. Got a long flat tip cabinet screwdriver. Very crusty and ugly looking screwdriver here. Corroded, can't make the name out on it. Another one of these Peerless flat tip screwdrivers. So if I take all the Peerless out of the different boxes I've gone through, I might have a whole set of those. Broken handle on this one. Again, I can't make out the name. Could be a knockoff, can't tell. And then the final one in this box is a number 4 Snap-on. So in total in that drawer I come up with about 24 Snap-on screwdrivers plus the cotter key puller. Alright, moving on to the last drawer here. This was one of the drawers I popped open because I knew what most of it was, and I wanted to make sure it was in it because it was by far the best drawer in the box, I believe, or close to it anyway. Right off the top here we have a big flat tip screwdriver. This is a Snap-on. Can't make out the number. I would say overall length it's right around 18 inches. We have a nice big 1/2 inch Snap-on ratchet. This is an SL715. Of course, I don't know if any of these work because, you know, I couldn't see them in person. So first one out of the box seems to be working fine. Back here we have a little 3/8. I think these are FK720. That one does seem to be working in both directions. Here we have an old 1/2 inch breaker bar, not very long one. That's probably only about 12, 13 inches long. I don't see a brand name on it. Got a SK Wayne 1/2 inch ratchet in here. That one's not clicking. Oh, and we're not shifting gears either. It's turning all the way around. So that one's going to need a new gear set. Looks like we have another 1/2 inch SK Wayne. Well, I don't know if it's SK Wayne, just SK. That one is working in both directions. Over here we have a Craftsman 3/8. This is a pretty new model. It is USA, but it's one of the later ones, I'm sure. It's got a Snap-on FX4 extension, and then it has a SK 19mm socket on it. So a little bit of everything on that one. Next up I see this 1/2 inch drive extension from Craftsman with a 1/2 inch 3/4 socket on it. Next up is a Snap-on SX5 extension. It's in pretty good shape. Then I'm looking at a no-name 3/8 drive breaker bar. Got a 1/2 inch, no, that's a 3/8. Got a 3/8 FU8A Snap-on universal. Looks like a 1/4 inch Craftsman breaker bar down here. Next I see this bent handle 3/8 drive Snap-on ratchet. This one looks to be in really good condition. Does seem to be working fine in both directions. So that's a pretty nice ratchet. Part number on this one is a F732A. Got a big punch here. Looks like it's made by her brand. Row of sockets on a rail. These first three look like SK metric. This is obviously a Snap-on. So these are, this one's Stanley, these are Stanley, and the ones on the end here are Stanley. Got an older Craftsman flat tip screwdriver in here. Snap-on 3/8 breaker bar. I think this is the FL. This is an F10 LB. Pretty good shape. Have a number of little extensions in here. This is a Japan-made wobble extension. This goes with that Stanley socket set. This looks, oh, this is the CA, which is, I believe, Continental America. A right 1/4 to 3/8 adapter. Little Snap-on SK, like a 1-inch 3/8 drive extension. Another SK 1-inch 3/8 drive extension. Another foreign-made wobble extension. Proto Professional 3/4 inch 1/2 inch drive. Snap-on FX8 extension. Old Snap-on swivel 1/2 inch 6-point. No tension whatsoever left in that one. And a Snap-on S8 1/2 inch universal adapter. SK 3/8 to 1/2 inch adapter. Snap-on FX2. A newer Craftsman USA 3/8 drive ratchet. That looks like it's got a little dirt on it, but it looks like it's never been used. This is another one of the Stanley Workmaster 3/8 drive extension. Snap-on 7/16. In a previous box there was a half dozen or so Snap-on 1/4 inch drive sockets. Maybe that one goes with the set. I have a long 3/8 that goes the whole length of the box. And I think these boxes are about 26 inches, so I'm guessing this is about a 24-inch extension. Looks like it's been hammered on the end a few times. I'm not seeing a brand anywhere on it, so I'm guessing it's a no-name. Have a CA, so I think that again is Continental America 3/8 drive extension. Have a ratchet in here. It's a, looks like a no-name flex head 3/8. Let's see, Indestro 1/2 inch drive extension. We have a couple more 1/2 inch drive extensions. This one is a no-name. This one is one of the Continental Americas 1/2 inch drive Craftsman breaker bar with Black Hawk 1-inch extension and a Craftsman socket. This looks like SK 3/8 drive extension. Here we have a Craftsman 1/2 inch drive with a thumb wheel. Probably my favorite Craftsman ratchet. It's got a 1/2 inch Craftsman extension and looks to be a Proto Professional socket. SK 3/8 drive ratchet. Snap-on 3/8 drive flex head hard handle ratchet. This is a F735A. Every time I find one of these, the handle seems to be a little bit shrunk where it doesn't fit all the way up. Am I crazy to think that these handles shrink over time? Seems to be working fine. Got a long handle 3/8 drive Snap-on. This is the FL720. This one seems to be working fine as well. Uh-oh. We have a TrueCraft 3/8 drive wobble. And last thing in the bottom center drawer is a Craftsman 1/2 inch drive ratchet. That one actually sounds pretty good for Craftsman. So this is a pretty good drawer. I think I count 5 Snap-on ratchets, 2 or 3 working SK ratchets, 3 or 4 Craftsman ratchets. I'm not sure it's the best drawer in the box, but it's a pretty good drawer. All right, moving on to the bottom box, top drawer. In the front here we have an inspection mirror, This is a KD. Have a hacksaw, blue point magnet. I'm not sure just by looking here what this is. Another piece that looks kind of the same. I'm not quite sure what it is. We got a number of hacksaw blades. We got a seal puller, one of those little grabber tools. We have mostly no-name flare nut crowfoot wrenches. This is a Her brand. Looks like we have a bunch of plastic gauge down in here. Here we have some odd-looking crowfoot wrenches. Wilco Products, New Jersey. Very thin, extremely thin. Gonna guess these are made for something specific. Not sure what this is. It looks like a huge punch or something. Big chisel, pickle fork. That's a Ken tool. Some of this looks like it might be homemade. Here's another pickle fork back here. And then some giant chisel in the back. Second drawer. Starting off on the right side here, we have a battery terminal cleaner. Looks like another battery terminal cleaner. Okay. First guess would be that's a nut splitter. Could be wrong. Feel free to let me know. Have a scraper, putty knife. Looks like it used to be a scraper. Craftsman flat tip screwdriver. We have a hose cutter. These come in handy when you want a nice clean cut on a hose. And then we got something made by Fomoco, so Ford Motor Company. There's the part number for you. On the fly here, I'm not coming up with anything. Please drop it in the comments. I'm sure a few of you know what that is. Over here we have a Snips. This is a diamond. Handle's in pretty good shape. I do collect the green handle diamond tools. I'll definitely keep this one around. All right, looks like we have a gasket scraper down here. It's a Snap-on. It's a CSB 12. It's got a strange profile. I'm guessing it's supposed to be that way. A few micrometers down here. This one definitely has a name on it. I might be able to pick it up on the computer later. Another one down here. This looks like this is a Starrett. This is a 1-2. And that Starrett logo to me looks a little different than the other ones I've seen. Then we have some of these, what we call them, bearing pullers, bearing separators, OTC. Using my hand for scale, this one's pretty massive. Got a little tubing cutter down here. Back here we have some miscellaneous stuff, and we have a Starrett. See, that logo is totally different than the last one. This must be a 2-3. Yeah, it's a 2-3. Then we have something that looks like it goes to another tool. KD 2545, I think that says. Looks like an insert for something. And that's the second drawer bottom box. Third drawer bottom box. All right, left side here we have a Napa, what I call a half moon wrench, obstruction wrenches. We got a Snap-on 7/16 half inch down there as well. And I know I've looked these up before, what they do, and I'm totally at a loss on the fly. Here's a spark plug threader, KD. We have some obstruction wrenches in here. This looks like a Snap-on. First one here is a Snap-on. Looks like some homemade obstruction wrenches as well. We have some dies here for the tube bender. That looks like a KD. Got a speeder wrench in here. And here's something a little different. Zim tools. Just off the surface, I don't know what that's for. Got some more homemade obstruction wrenches. Here's Another Snap-on obstruction wrench. We have a distributor wrench, Craftsman punch, and a couple more homemade wrenches in there. And then on this side, I think all I see in here is this chalk. That'll finish off drawer 3 at the bottom. All right, drawer number 4. Okay, I know there's going to be a lot of stuff in here to get me guessing what it is. Some sort of cone-shaped tool here. Looks like it's pretty beat up. Don't know what it's for. Hacksaw, flashlight, helicoil. I do believe these are valve spring tools. This is KD, so I think these are for pushing down valve springs. I'm gonna just guess that's what that is too. Best guess on this one is going to be a tailpipe expander. Here's a tool that I've seen before, but I can't recall what it's for. I think these little end pieces go with it. Got some oil filter wrenches back here. Not seen any name brand on those. Have some KMC ratcheting wrenches, metric, Taiwan. So we got a few of those. I believe this is a tailpipe cutter, KD. Bunch of those Taiwan wrenches, some manuals of some sort. Got a puller here. Not sure what it's for. Please drop it in the comments if you know. I believe we have another valve spring tool here. So that's drawer 4, bottom box. Bottom box, drawer 5. Oh, first thing up we have here is a Blue Point tubing tool set. That's exactly what's in here. I think the little pieces that belong in here are actually under this broken plastic piece. Here we have a central tool, some sort of machining tool. Cylinder bore gauge. Snap-on air-powered scraper. Not sure I've seen one of these before. Interesting. Yeah, definitely the first time I've come across one of those. Have an old beam style torque wrench down here. Looks like a 1/2-inch drive. This one is branded by SK. Some people say those are the most accurate torque wrenches you can get. Not SK, but beam style. We have some nice looking punches in here. These are actually Starrett. I do like the advertising on this next one here. Do it yourself and save. Of all the jobs you can do yourself, this might be one of them that some people shouldn't tackle. Seems safe enough. Looks like we have a vacuum gauge here. This is made in the USA. A little C-clamp in here. And this must be for the vacuum gauge. Thexton one-man master cylinder bleeding kit. That'll complete number 5. Number 6, bottom drawer. EGR valve tester. Okay. Not sure I'll ever need that one. Next up we have a piston groove cleaner, KD. I think that's just a sticker on there. I'm not sure they make it. This one's a little heavier duty than the ones I've had in the past. This one's pretty nice actually. I think I'm going to keep that one. We got a little hone down here. We got an Equus fuel pump pressure engine vacuum gauge. Let's see if we got a brand down here. Looks like KD. We have a KD valve spring compressor. ratcheting valve string compressor, tester light, another hone, alternator output, starter current. I think this is a starter button. KD 124. Pretty sure that's a starter button. Got a Lyle ridge reamer that is in the box. Back here we have a Milton compression tester. We have a KD 2389. I'm gonna guess that's also another ridge reamer. And that's drawer 6 at the bottom. And the final drawer in the bottom. Uh-oh. Pulled that drawer out a little too far, but we're good. Alright, got something made by Rigid here. We got another flaring tool. This one looks like it's basically brand new. I believe the next up is a radiator tester. Best guess. This one's made by Gates. Big box here that says Monitor 2000. That sounds important. Before we open the Monitor 2000, most of what's in here is just a bunch of miscellaneous junk after that. And there's the Monitor 2000 OTC branded. I'm gonna guess it's out of date, but yeah, somebody might need it somewhere. So that finishes off the bottom box. Last but not least is the side box. Top drawer side box. Looking like almost all snap ring pliers. Well, and a steak knife. But yeah, a couple different brands in here. Mostly Blue Point. This one's in pretty good shape. This is a Snap-on. It's in really nice shape. Second drawer. Seeing the tin snips off the bat here. This one's made by Leverage. Glass cutter, Red Devil. Big set of hex keys, Eklund. Here's the set made in Japan. Got a thread file, Snap-on. I think these are for busted bolts. I don't know if there's another one in here, but we got 3 out of 4. I have a Miller's Falls utility knife. Looks like they lost the screw on it and just drilled a hole through it and made their own butter knife. Number of hex keys, some Torx keys. Buffalo impact driver. And that's the second drawer of the side box. Third drawer. Alright, most of this set here is Craftsman, but I do see, did I pass it? Here's a Snap-on. Metric, here's a Snap-on. So almost all Craftsman on that rail, a couple Snap-on. I could see these rails in the photo, but I couldn't tell if they were brand name. These are Stanley, so I would say no, those are not brand name. And this one's mixed. I'm seeing Matco on the end here, Matco. That's SK, Craftsman, Matco, Matco, Matco. So a couple goodies. Now let's see here. Have a couple more Matco sockets down here. Another one here. Some no-name wrenches in here. And we got a Snap-on 12 millimeter in here. Snap-on 15 millimeter. 15 open-end flare nut wrench, Snap-on. 16 millimeter Snap-on. 11 mil. 14, so maybe we have most of a set. 19. We have a Craftsman Professional 18 millimeter wrench. That's pretty nice. Still has a sticker on it. You can see under there it says Professional. Well, you can kind of see. We have a Snap-on 6-point. Might have said this one already. Snap-on 18, Snap-on 13. So not a full set of Snap-on, but I think it was only missing the 10 and like the 19. No, there's a 19 there. So maybe it's only missing 1 or 2 to the set. So that's a pretty good drawer. Fourth drawer, a skill air hammer. I'm not sure I've had a skill air tools before. This is a Blue Point. I just checked under the flap there at the Blue Point 1/2-inch impact. Big wrenches here look to be True Craft 3/8 Blue Point air wrench, or air ratchet I should say. Oh, 17mm Snap-on. I do think this one was missing out of this box. So I think if I have a 10, I think I have the set there. 5/8 6-point down here, Snap-on. There's a bolt out set, or whatever you want to call them, easy outs or broken bolt set anyway. Definitely keep that around. Some pretty beat up torque set here that's probably made by Lyle or something like that. A right. Okay, so this is a right 13/16 by 3/4, so this is like a flip socket set for lug nuts. Oh, it's got a Snap-on impact lock pin extension with it. Fifth drawer, Blue Point tap and die set. Looks to be almost all there, or maybe all there. Next up we have a Blue Point gasket punch set. Looks to be all there. We have a 29-piece what-you-call-it kit. I call it a screwdriver. It's missing the cap on the end, but not a big deal. Drawer 6. Alright, back here we have a caliper. Precision Universal Joint Group. Some miscellaneous junk in there. A clamp and cam bearing installer. No idea who makes this, but that's all in that drawer. Drawer 7. Oh, pretty simple timing light on this one. Next drawer. Looks like we got some different puller parts, bolts and jaws. Some miscellaneous junk, but yeah, mostly just puller pieces and parts. And the final drawer, beware of dog drawer. Some more puller pieces. Not sure if there's any brands on any of this stuff. I feel like I've seen one of these before, but I can't recall what it's for. This one is a OTC. We have a big old OTC 927. Man, that is a heavy duty piece. I would imagine this is the screw for it, and I would probably think that these are the jaws for it. I have a Black Hawk puller, and can't make up a name. We have a little die grinder, and the last thing I'm going to go through, drill bit set. So this one is made by Allied, made in Italy. That's everything in the side box. Overall, not quite as good as I had hoped, but that's going to be all for this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.